Here we're going to talk about the water in the sewer. On the passenger side, behind the wheel, is the reservoir that holds the freshwater tank and all the mechanicals for that tank. On the door, it has a diagram of what valve needs to be turned to what position, whether you want to go with city water or you want to go with reservoir water. There's two pumps, as you can see there. There's the different valves. Pump number one, and then there's a momentary switch, and pump number two. There's a momentary switch again. You have more valves that divert the water depending upon whether you want city water. We have 3 filters that currently don't have filters in them. Those are just filters you can buy at Home Depot. Each pump has a quick disconnect in the event you want to replace the pump or work on the pump. Rather than cut the wires, you can just quick disconnect it. Alright, now we're going to talk about how you fill the water. This is called the wet bay. Hanging down right there in the middle, we have the water input. So on the bottom there, that is you go take the hose up through there, you connect it right there. That is a pressure regulator, so you don't put too much pressure on the system. That there is a hot water outlet, so if you want to wash your car, wash anything, you could connect the hot water to that. That there is the black water flush valve. So turn that and it squirts water into the black water tank. Right here we have the sensor level to tell you how much fluid is in that tank. That's a clean out for the black water tank. That's a clean out for the freshwater tank. There's a freshwater drain valve. And then we pull that plug out and the pipe would go through the floor. We connect this 90-degree elbow to that. And then we connect the hose. So you may need more hoses to however far you want to drain it. Now there's a heater in there, so here's the heating hose right here that comes from the boiler to keep this area warm so that it doesn't freeze. That one connects to the end of the hose, and that actually goes into the ground, into your septic tank or whatever sewer. Now at the top right here we have a thermostat that tells the boiler how warm we want this compartment to be. And that's what happens there. Alright, to recap here, this is the freshwater input. You hook your freshwater hose up to it with potable water. That is a pressure relief valve, or pressure regulator, so you don't allow too much pressure on the water to enter the system. Now we are looking at the valve to the left. This is the black water flush valve. So when you're draining your black water tank, there's a jet that squirts into the tank and it dissolves whatever may be in there. So this valve, you open it, a water jet squirts into the black water tank to help you clean it out. That's all that does. Alright, the next item is this red PEX with a valve on it. All this is a hot water port to hook a garden hose to. So you can use it to wash the RV, use it to wash your car, anything you may want to use hot water for. Now you have a way to plug a hose into to have hot water for use. Alright, now over to the passenger side. Here's the water manifold that controls and opens and closes the water to all the fixtures in the RV. Okay, here's another modification. This is a sensor connected to the gray water tank, but all 3 tanks, the freshwater, gray water, and black water, all have this. This allows you to have an accurate reading of exactly what's in the tank. It's called a sea level, and the other end is inside the control panel inside the RV. Alright, this is the black water drain valve. Only open this valve when you're physically draining it. You don't want to have poop get built up inside there and clog the system up. That's what will happen if you leave this valve open. Alright, here's the gray water drain valve. In the summer, when there's no chance of freezing, you can leave this valve open and it will constantly drain without you having to drain it intentionally. In the winter, leave this closed until you want to drain it, otherwise the pipes after it might get frozen. Alright, the entire basement is heated, and this particular compartment has its own thermostat to control the heat. And there it is right there. Okay, to the bottom left you see a little white plug on the tank there. Each tank has a white clean out valve, so if you need to, you could put a water jet inside there, the gray water tank and the black water tank. Now we're going to talk more about the water manifold and what's on that side. The first thing here, we have the pressure nozzle going into the black water tank, and that helps you when you drain it. Right there we have the freezer ice maker supply that comes off the top of there. Here we have the handle that we could connect to each one of those valves to open and close the valve as necessary. So if you need to work on a particular system, you can turn that valve off and only turn the water off for that particular system. So there's the manifold. I think it's a really good setup, and I think it's a good system that you'll be happy with.